Hello everybody, welcome to my live video. For those of you who are watching this after the fact, welcome. Nobody's on yet, so I'm just going to start by talking a little bit about what I'm planning on doing. So right now I'm fretting the guitar. I should count how many frets I have. I got 5. So right now I'm fretting the guitar, getting things ready to put the frets in. So I'm just cutting them to length, and then I'm going to bend them to the right shape to go in. And then I'm going to put them in, and yeah, so that should be fun. I think I have everything out here to do it. I was just doing it in the basement, and I was waking up Levi, so I decided to come out and live stream the rest of it. I already did a few frets just for my video, so you guys get to enjoy the rest of it. So, I should have been counting, still not counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, so I need 12. So 4 more. If I did my math right, which I can't believe I wouldn't have, because that's quite simple. So, my future builds. That's what I said I was going to talk about a little bit. I need to make sure I keep counting. So that's 1, 2, and I need to get to another piece of wire. Got a little dud. So, some of my future builds that I have planned, after I'm done this, I'm going to be building an acoustic bass for my dad. He started building one years ago. Probably it was close to after I finished at the Canadian School of Luthery. That's where I went to school to build guitars. So he had been working on that for quite a while, and he just doesn't want to finish it himself. He's more interested in sailing. Who would have thought of that? So I'm going to finish it for him, and that should be fun. So it's not all that far along. Oh, hey, how's it going, Mike? So his bass isn't all that far along. He thinks it's a little bit further than it actually is. He's got the mold made, which took him a long time. This is just my fret bending jig. Here, I'll get you guys lower so you can actually see how it works before the episode comes out. Something that I just put together. It's pretty basic, but it works pretty good. Yeah, so he started working on this bass. He's got the mold ready, so I don't have to make a mold, or at least I don't think I do. He has the back glued together with a little strip in between, and he's got the sides thicknessed, and that's it. So that's really not all that much, but that's fine. I will do the rest of it for him, and that'll be fun. So you guys will see that too. I'm going to be videoing that. I'm going to be videoing everything that I do, for the most part. Maybe not quite everything. I've done some things that I have videoed and whatnot, but for the most part, everything's been videoed. Oh, I just bent that sideways. That's a dud. That is garbage. There's a little slot inside of this that the tang of the fret sits in. That's this little piece here. See how it's shaped kind of like a mushroom kind of T kind of shape? So the bottom part here sits in a slot in this on the bottom. But I just had it sitting in there sideways, so when I bent it, it did not bend right. Yeah, this jig works pretty good. I made it actually just after this is one of the first things I made after the Canadian School of Luthery. A lot of people use a roller system, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with a roller system. This is just so much easier. Plus, I can bend individual frets. The people who use roller systems have to bend the whole fret wire at once, which is fine, like I said, but that's just not how I do it. This is how I do it. This is what I like to do. I saw something similar when I took my course. They also had the roller system there. I need to cut one more piece. So, yeah, so that's basically the story there. Yeah, it's a fun little jig to use. I'll have to make a video of making a jig like this at some point, especially if I make my course like I was planning on doing for building guitars. Then I definitely need to make a video on how to make the tool that you need for building guitars, which is fun. That would be a fun thing to make a video on too, because it'd be fun to make a new one that's a little bit better. Make it maybe not fancier necessarily, but just a bit better. That one's kind of thrown together. There we go. So I got all of the rest of the fret wires bent. No, I don't. I have a 0 fret, so that means I need one more, I think. Yes, I need one more. Years ago, when I first started building guitars, I bought this tube of fret wire from Stumac, and I've never run out. Obviously, I haven't built a whole whack load of guitars, but it was quite a big package too. I don't know how big it was. I don't know how many there were in it, but there was quite a few. Enough to make 5 or 6 guitars. I haven't made a ton since I took my course. Alright, so I'll bend this last one, and then I'll start putting them in. Oh, I thought I just bent this sideways again. Okay. And there's somebody driving by like a maniac. I don't know if you guys can hear that. But it sounded like they took a tin can and stuck it on their muffler and put the pedal to the metal. Tell you, my van doesn't sound like that. Alright. So here's the process. So I leave it sticking up a little bit in the middle. There's a gap here that I crown it further than I need it. I tap in the ends and then tap towards the middle and go the whole way across. Check with my fingernail to see if it's the whole way in. Make sure that I can't grip it. If I can grip it, it's not far enough in. Then snip off the ends and move to the next one. When doing this on an electric guitar, since I'd have the neck usually sitting in like a block of some sort, I definitely have to make sure that these little ends here don't end up underneath of it. Otherwise, you dig up the neck pretty bad. Unless you do this after filing, do this before shaping the neck. That'd be another good way to do it, which I haven't done before, but I think I'll do that next time because it makes a lot more sense to me. So, tap, 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 and then pound her in. This hammer that I have here is made out of brass. So it's basically just a brass slug. I went to a machine shop locally. There we go. I went to a local machine shop and just bought a 1.25 inch round of brass cut to length. It was like $11 or something. So compared to going and buying an actual fretting hammer, this is twice as good and is 1/4 the price. Another idea that I've had that I haven't done, but something that you could do, something that I've thought of before for people who don't have one of these, is you could actually just buy you can buy brass pipe, and you can buy brass fittings and stuff for pipes in like hardware stores and whatnot. So if you find some sort of an end cap that fits over your hammer, you could actually just like glue it onto your hammer. Or buy a cheap hammer and glue it right onto that. That'd be a good way to do it too. If I ever have to replace this, then I'll do that. I don't know why I'd ever have to replace this though. This is going to outlast me. Nothing really to go wrong with it. But it's one of those things. This is what my father taught me. I hope that I wear out the hammer, because that means that I'm building a lot of guitars. I hope that my tools get wore out. Not because they're cheap, but because that means that I'm building a lot of guitars. Hey, Turk, the Turk, how's it going? Yeah, so after this I'll be building the bass for my dad, and that'll be fun. And then I'm going to build an electric guitar. A very basic, nothing too fancy electric guitar. Something that would be very similar to a lot of people's first guitars that they'd build, because I want to make a course. So that's my plan. Now, if I get a commission between now and then, that'll all change everything. But if I don't get any commissions, I'll be making a course, hopefully. So that would be something that would be paid, a paid course. There'd be the free version of kind of what I've been doing now with this acoustic guitar, where I'm really not giving all that much details. I'm just doing videos. So I'd still have content like this. And I'd probably live stream some of the more grindy things, like right now, just it takes a long time to go through and fret all the frets to put them all in. So yeah, basically that's kind of what I'm looking at. So that's the next plan after doing the base. And then the hope is that it would work well and that people will buy it and enjoy the course. So then I'd be able to do more courses, use some of the profits to go towards making more courses, like making an acoustic guitar building course, making mandolin building courses, making whatever, like all kinds of different things. There's even just thinking about it like this, like if I'm just building electric guitars, let's say, which I'm not planning on only building electric guitars, but let's just say for the sake of discussion I could do guitar courses for years and only be building electric guitars, because a course is going to take a lot of time to make, a whole lot more than just my normal videos, because I just stick up the camera, put on time lapse on my phone, because I just use my phone for a camera, and I hit record, and then I start working. I don't have to explain things. I don't have to talk about things. I can talk about things if I want to, but I don't have to. So of course, I'm going to have to talk about things. I'm going to have to explain things. I'm going to have to make sure that I'm not saying things wrong and that what I'm saying makes sense, because if I'm saying something that doesn't make any sense, then it's not going to work for people in the course. So basically, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at. And doing it with electric guitars only, if I was to do that, which I'm not planning on it, but let's just say I was. So I first make something like a Strat or a Tele, something simple. Well, what about people who want to do a through neck? Well, that's going to take a whole other course, because other than doing something like putting the frets on, it's pretty much totally different. Yes, there'd be a lot of carryover. There'd be a lot of things that would be the same in both courses, but there's so much different and so many processes that you have to do differently in different orders and whatnot to build a through neck than to build a standard, like, bolt-on neck guitar, that just right there, that'd be a whole other course. If I was to do one just for making arch, like I could have add-on courses and different things for making arch-topped electric guitars. So like a Les Paul. Les Paul has an arch top. It's an electric guitar. It's not hollow, but it's got an arched top. It takes a whole other process. It doesn't have a bolt-on neck. It's just a whole different process because the order of things is different. So I'd be able to make courses for making Les Paul style guitars. Doing stuff with different components like headless guitars, stuff like that, just other crazy things, would be a whole other set of courses. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. That's what I'm thinking about doing. Obviously, I wouldn't only do electric guitars. I say that's obvious. I think it's obvious. It's obvious to me. I'm building an acoustic guitar right now. Why wouldn't I build an acoustic guitar course? Well, I would. So then there's so many more courses there. So there would be just your standard, typical acoustic guitar. There'd be arch tops. There'd be mandolins. There'd be dulcimers, ukuleles, banjos. My least favorite instrument, banjo. But there'd be all sorts of different things. Oh, basses. Like, even though there's not a whole lot of difference, I could still make a course specifically for building a bass, so that if somebody's looking to build a bass, they get the right information from the start, instead of saying, and now if you're building a bass, you have to do all these other dimensions or whatever, and making it useless for electric guitar players for half of the course, just because the dimensions would be all different. Anyway, so what do you think of that? Do you guys think that's a good idea? Is that something that you'd be interested in, or is that just something that you think would be good for other people? What would you want, if you were to want a course, what would you want the course to include? Let me know down in the comments, and if you're watching this after the fact, then you can still leave comments and let me know, and I will do my best to get back to you. I've been trying my best to get back to as many comments as possible, but there's a lot of comments that I've been getting that's just not something that I really need to respond to. And I've been getting so many that I've just been either liking them or saying thanks, like, which I read so far. I read all the comments. So I at least have enough time to do that. But if I start getting too many more comments, I may not be able to read them all. So we'll see. Yeah, so what do you guys think of my idea about doing the courses? Do you think that's a waste of time? Do you think that's something that would be interesting? One thing that I've mentioned before, and I even put up pictures of my plans for it, but I haven't really gone too much further than just that, is that mandolin that I have planned. I'm still planning on building that, but I think that doing the course would be a better idea for the next thing other than the base and or any commissions that I get. So I'm working on that, working on plans for that. Now, I had mentioned in some of the groups and had a lot of feedback about how I might, instead of making a mandolin, maybe just make a full-on arch top. Or a bouzouki, which is basically, not quite, but basically an octave mandolin, or something like that. So here's the tricky one. This is a 0 fret. So this is basically where the nut should be. So I have the risk, though, since it's such a small piece on the back side of the thing, of the fret, we've got a big risk of splitting it out. So I'm gonna hope that I don't split it out. I've seen a lot of people's 0 frets have so much room back here that you could put almost in, like, it's almost like a half fret, and I didn't do that. Maybe I should have. Maybe not. I'm just going to be extra careful and take my time. Well, I'm glad you like the idea, Mike. I'm also curious what people would consider would be a good price for something like that, because it would be something that would be paid. And it would be all digital. It wouldn't be like a DVD or anything. So it's not like I have to keep up with shipping or keep up with any sort of stock. So I wouldn't have to charge a lot of money for it. But at the same time, I'd want to charge what I can get for it, because I want to make, if I'm going to make a business out of doing that, doing courses, I want to be able to make courses that I can actually do it. Like if I could give them away for free, but I don't know. Course would probably, it would include videos for sure, and it would include a workbook, and like an ebook workbook, written content with images basically taken from the video, so like a written version of the video. Probably I would figure out some way of either having links to plans or to actually include plans. I don't own plans myself that I've drawn up myself that I'd be able to give away with. I'd have to figure out either licensing the plans from somebody or retailing the plans for somebody. Like if I buy, like let's say that, I don't know, that somebody sells plans for $20, I'm able to pay them $10 for each plan that I sell, that I would sell for whatever in the course, including the course. Something like that might work. Okay, I'm going to go down to the basement because I'm running out of data and I'm done the loud part. So you guys are just going to have to bear with me for a moment while I get stuff shoved in my pockets and carry you all down to the basement. Okay, got the file. So that's all I need. Oh, okay, that's actually a lot easier than I thought it was. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. If you guys have any suggestions, I'm definitely open for suggestions. This is months away, if not years. So just let me know what you think. I'm glad you guys think it's a good idea so far. Most people that I've had talk to about this think it's a good idea. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about doing. Entering the basement now. There's my furnace. Pile of garbage. It's not actually garbage, it's just stuff that I need to move around. Here's my workbench. There. So now you guys know what it looks like to get all the way down to my basement. That's exciting. It's not actually exciting. I'm just being silly. All right. So I can file this now. That is a wood file. That's just going to ruin the file. I'll be right back. I'm going to have to find another file. I'll be right back. Just bear with me. If anybody asks where I am, leave it in the comments. I'll be back in a second. There we go. So how expensive were those plans that you didn't end up buying? Just so that I have an idea of what too expensive to you. I have no idea. I spent a lot of money on the course in person. That basically what I'm looking to sell. But that was in person, right? That was like going to school. So that's a whole other story than doing an online course. And especially like I think that doing what I'm doing now with all this free stuff, like what I'm doing right now, would help people to see the value in the course. I'd hope. Oh wow, yeah, that's not what I was thinking about spending. About charging. I was thinking about like maybe $150, so like a tenth the price or so. Yeah, no, I wasn't. $1,500 for an online course. I know of courses that go for that, like different courses and stuff that people do, and it very well could be worth it. I'm not trying to say that they're ripping you off or anything. I have no idea, but wow, that sounds like a lot to me. Hey, maybe they sell it too. I mean, you'd think if you charge that much money, you probably do sell it to some people. Now, my online course was not my online course, it wasn't online. My in-person course was a whole lot more money than that, even still. But to me, it was like going to a semester of university or whatever. So I wasn't so concerned about the price. Plus, I got 3 guitars out of it, one of which I sold. So it wasn't. I didn't have to pay for any of the wood or anything. I just had to pay for the parts on the electric ones and didn't pay for anything for my acoustic. So to me, it was worth it. It didn't seem so extravagant, but it was a lot of money. Oh, I can only imagine a lot of work goes into the courses. Yeah, they'd be all over for the prices. I can imagine a lot of work goes into these courses. What I've been doing so far for these videos that I've been doing doesn't take a lot of work because it's mostly just time lapses, and I don't have a lot of time to work on it. I still work full time. This is just a little hobby, right? I mean, I put a lot of time into it, but at the same time, it's not like it's my full-time job. You know what I mean? So I can only imagine people who do this as a course. Like to do a course would be a lot more work than what I'm doing now. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it was fun to go to the school. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot. I don't regret it. It was a good experience. However, it can be very difficult to make money in Luthery. That's why I'm thinking about doing the courses, not to like that, just courses for people to do as a hobby. I'm not looking to make people money. I'm not trying to make people into a business, right? But yeah. Well, the thing with the courses for price, right? If I'm looking to sell it to people who are just doing it as a hobby, they're just making 1 or making 2. I can't charge them $1,500 for a course. That's ridiculous. I just can't do that. Maybe I could for some people who have the money, but at the same time, people who have that much money are either going to go to an actual school if they have enough time to do it, or they're going to just buy one, like I'd think. So to me, it just doesn't make sense to charge that much. That sounds like too much money. So I'd think about charging maybe $150, and then if I can sell 10 times more courses than I could at $1,500, well, I'm making the same amount of money. If I sell 20 times more courses at $150 compared to $1,500, I'm going to make twice as much money. Because for me, it would cost the exact same amount because it's a digital content. That's the beauty of digital content, is you don't have to charge a lot of money to make money off of it. That's why ebooks can sell for 50 cents and still make money. But at the same time, if one ebook will sell for 50 cents, or it'll sell the exact same or just like a marginally smaller amount for $1.50, well, you're going to charge $1.50 because you're going to get so much more for it if you're still going to sell the book, right? It's the same as like I could give it away for free and whatever, but it wouldn't make sense to. Maybe I'd have a small, like a stripped down version that I would give away for free that gives enough that people get an idea of what's in the course, but really not quite enough to actually do it. I don't know. Or maybe just make a course for something like making a stick doll simmer for free. That way people get an idea of what's in the course for everything else, but they don't have to pay for it before they know. But then what I'd teach them in the stick doll simmer course wouldn't really apply for everything else. I mean, some of it would. Doing what I'm doing right now is going to be the same on whatever instrument you're building as long as it has frets, for example. But still quite a bit different in some ways, depending on what you're doing. Really starts to look like a guitar when you're getting frets on and you have the neck on. Now, the neck's not on right now, but I can put the neck on in like a second or two. Well, more than that, but right now it's just a matter of screwing the neck on, but I have to glue it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the work that I can with the neck off, then actually glue it on. Making jigs, yeah. I never even thought of that. That'd be a good course to make too. Just a course on making jigs, because then you could use those jigs in the other courses. So if I was making a course on how to make templates, that could be even a free course. And then use the templates that you make in your free course for making the electric guitar in the electric guitar course. Huh. That's a good idea. You're full of good ideas. Well, thank you. See, a big part of building guitars is about making jigs. Like, you can make an electric guitar, for example. You can make a one-off electric guitar with no jig for the body shape. But what happens when you drop it and it snaps in half and you have to remake it? Well, you're going to have to draw it again. You're going to have to do all that work again. So you're going to be shaping a guitar from, like if you're making it 1 3/4 inch, like the standard size, you're going to be shaping this body from that size. Or you could shape a piece of MDF to the right size and then route the body out from the MDF. So much easier. In a way, it seems like it's more work because you're making the body shape twice, which you are, but you're not, because the first time you're making it, then you're copying it onto a body. It's sort of like if you were to use a copy carver for making an arch top, but I understand why people don't do that. So you'd make the pattern once, then copy carve it after that. That's a great way to do it if you're trying to make money on it. And you can still... It still takes a lot of work, and I think that you could call it handmade or like hand carved in that way, even though you used a machine for part of it. It's not like you used a CNC machine and it was hand carved originally, but I don't know. You can still say it's handmade, obviously, but that's just because it's not made on a factory line. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm not there yet. I did make a copy carver at one point though. It worked all right, but I didn't use a router on it. I used a Dremel, so that was my main problem. I just didn't have the right bits for it. So if I would have used a router, it would have been a lot better. This is just an old file that I found like in a garage somewhere. It's not even a good file, and yeah, a course on templates. You said jigs, I said templates, but I guess I was thinking the same thing when you said your course on jigs. Yeah, you can make a course on templates, a course on jigs, a whole bunch of different things. Some things wouldn't really require a course that per se. There'd more be a set of plans and some instructional videos. Like some of the jigs might just be a set of plans and instructional video. But I could definitely make a whole course on making templates. When I make the electric guitar, I just make a course for making the template for it and for the neck, and then also have a course for making the actual electric guitar. Yeah, I guess I thought of that, but I really was just thinking of your jig idea, because I consider a template a jig. There we go. Almost there. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at for the future. Thinking about doing courses, thinking about doing different things like that. Some of my crazy ideas that I have, I'm half thinking about someday making an electric guitar that has a bass and an electric guitar in the same neck. It's probably been done before, but I just think it'd be a lot of fun to do. So it would be like a 10-string electric guitar, basically. Yeah, so that's one idea that I have. I'm thinking about doing that. I think that'd be fun, and it'd be even fun in a way. At least fun for me, to make like a 12-string guitar. And I don't mean like a 12-string like your traditional steel 12-string guitar, but I mean like make an electric guitar that has 12 individual strings. Both could easily be tuned to like the standard tuning, or they could be tuned to whatever you wanted them to be, but not have a body or a headstock on it. So it would be basically a stick, like a board, with a whole bunch of strings on it, and it'd be something that you'd be playing more like a piano kind of tapping system. It'd be kind of fun. I don't know if I'd be able to play it myself. I could figure out some, but yeah. So that would be kind of fun. So it'd have 12 strings. It'd be the width of 2 necks. It would have no headstock. It would have not really any body. It would just have some, like the fretboard would go. Then there'd be some pickups. Then there'd be the bridge, just bridge that you use with the headless guitar. You could even put legs on it and make it have like a stand like a piano. It'd be kind of fun. So those are some of my crazy ideas. At some point, I want to make an electric guitar with like 40 strings, something crazy. I want to go totally off the wall, kind of like I did with the harp guitar, but with an electric guitar with a lot of strings. Crazy amount of strings. I think that Davey 504 has a 36-string bass, so it has to be more than 36 strings. Other than that, the most that I've really seen, unless you have multiple necks, is 20. There's probably somebody somewhere who has one with more than 20. There's probably somebody who has a piano that they took apart that they're calling a guitar, and they put a fretboard under a piano, and then they have like an 88-string guitar. Sure, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd really count that. It would have to be something that's actually built originally as a guitar that you can play while you're standing up holding it, even if you have to have back support. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to make. One thing that I have as an idea too, to try to get my name out there more on YouTube specifically, is making a guitar to give away to somebody who's like a YouTube guitarist. that'd be a good idea. Then if I do a collaboration with them, then I'd be able to get my name out there more, and they'd get a free guitar, and I could make them more or less whatever they wanted. It'd be kind of cool. Like, there's this one guy who likes 8-string guitars. It'd be cool to make an acoustic 8-string guitar because he also likes acoustic guitars. The only way I'd be able to do that is most likely if I gave it to them for free. They're not going to pay me for it, so they get so many free guitars that it's just not worth it for them to pay for a guitar. So I'd have to give it to them for free, which is the major downside of that whole idea. It would definitely work to get my name out there, but at the same time, it'd be very expensive. My course was 3 months long. So basically a month per guitar, except my first guitar took way longer than a month, just because I was slow. They offered at the time, I don't even think they're open anymore, but they offered a 1-month course for just building like one guitar. But I took the 3-month course and built 3 guitars. The bass didn't take me all that long. That was my second guitar that I built. I don't know if you guys seen pictures of it or not, but I posted pictures of it before. You can see it on my website if you want. Just go in my gallery and look through my gallery, and the only bass that's on there. I still got that one, and I made an electric guitar that I sold. I don't have many pictures of that one. I've got a few way back on my Facebook page. So that's from way back. If you go on my Facebook page and you look at some of the first pictures, there should be a telly that I built there. I actually ended up screwing up the body so bad that I wanted to get it out to the customer as soon as possible, so I ended up going with a Warmouth body. I wouldn't do that again, but he knew that I did that. It's not like I didn't trick him or anything. I don't know, I learned a lot. I'll put it that way. I had a whole body made. Nothing wrong with it, except the wood that I used was just junk. I didn't know at the time. But anyway, it was so soft that if you touched it with the tool, it would get dug up, so I just couldn't give it to him like that. That was just not going to work. It wasn't softwood. It's technically a hardwood, but it's not hard at all. It was made out of aspen. People use aspen. I don't know how, but somehow people use aspen, and they seem to do just fine. But what I had was either not actually aspen, maybe it wasn't, or just a bad luck with a bad piece of wood that was too soft. It wasn't even a good-looking wood. That's just what the guy wanted. Anyway, that's beside the point. He ended up with an ash body. Looked a lot better, in my opinion. He liked it better, too. So, not to gripe about aspen too much, but if you're ever building an electric guitar, in my opinion, don't use aspen. Unless you're going to relic it. A relic's really easy. Just touch it with the tool and it's reliced. Okay. Well, there. So I've got the sides pretty much done. Not quite. Boy, this is coming along faster than I thought it would. Well, I can start doing the... Oh, what's it called? I don't even know what it's called. I can't remember right now. I know what it's called, but for some reason my mind's going blank. I can file the frets down. The fret dress, that's it. I can dress the frets now. Let's see here. It's not quite where I want it to be now. I'm going to take my sandpaper to it. Oh, that's not going to work. Yeah, see you, Mike. Thanks for joining on and chatting. It was fun. I'm glad to have you on. I'll see you next time. Sure, I'll see you in between now and then, too. why did I go with a 0 fret? I like it. It's easier to set the action because you basically just file the nut down until it's hitting onto this fret. So it's easier to set the action really low. It looks cool. It sounds more like you're fretting the guitar when it's open. So I like the idea of that. I don't know if it makes as much of a difference as people like to think it does. I like to think that everything's going to make a difference in your guitar. Everything's going to make a difference in the tone. Everything's going to make a difference in everything, like in the way the guitar sounds, right down to the point of putting glue in the frets or not, and what kind of glue you use. But pretty much everything's going to sound good. So I don't really know why people think that it seems to be so much better, but at the same time I wanted to try it. It worked out better to have the 14th fret at the joint if I had the nut here. So it worked out better to do a 0 fret. That was a big part of the reason. Yeah, I like the way that it looks. And yeah, that's basically it. So a bunch of different reasons. Mostly just because. It's just why I did it. I just did it because I did. Probably a bad reason, but whatever. I've done it once before, and I really enjoyed it because I was able to use so much less effort putting in the action low, and I have a super low action on that instrument. So that's a big part of it. Plus the alignment issue that I was going to have. I would have had an alignment issue. I would have had to cut this back some, and I don't know, I just didn't want to. And the way that I did the heel here with this carve, it would have cut it back to the point that it would be not in line with the body. Just a miscalculation on my point, but it worked out to put a 0 fret and to fix it. So yeah, hope that answers your question. Let me know if you have any more questions. I like answering questions that you guys have. I'm sure you've got lots about why I'm putting a harp inside of it. And to be honest, I have a lot too. It's just an experiment. It's fun. It's getting my name out there more, so a lot more people are finding my content, which is nice because I'm trying to make content and to get views, not just for myself, but that the goal is to eventually be able to do something full time with making content, like a YouTuber makes content and whatever and all that. Now, my content so far on YouTube has not been doing very well. I do have a YouTube channel in case you guys are interested. So you can find that. Just go on my website and you can find links to that and all that. So basically, my Facebook page has done so much better, so that's why I've been focusing more on Facebook. But you can actually do the same thing just on your Facebook page. I'm almost there to be able to get brand collaboration, which I don't really know what that means, but it's something that it tells me that if I'm almost there to be able to get that. So that's some sort of monetization. And then ads, I'm not really all that far along. I need to get 10,000 followers in order to be able to put ads in stream in my videos, which I'm not even close to there. So don't worry about seeing ads yet. I might not even do that. If I do the courses and I'm able to make money off the courses, I'm probably not going to put ads in my videos, but we'll see. I don't know. So I'll try to do the courses. Hopefully that works. Then you guys don't have to listen to ads. But yeah, so this here can be dressed. That's exciting. Well, I should probably put it on the guitar before I dress the frets. I'm going to glue the neck on. That is terrifying. Yeah, that's terrifying. I'm going to do it. All right. You guys are going to see the neck get glued on. Oh, no, I got to put this in my video. I can't do this in a stream. How am I going to do this? I got it. If I find a block that fits here well enough, that does, I can clamp this on and dress the frets from this. Actually, hold on. I'm just going to screw the body back on, the neck back on the body, and then I'm going to be able to dress the frets. So, make sure there's no fret ends here. So I did the first bit of fretting down here, and then Levi was getting woken up by my fretting. So I had to stop. and go to the garage. That's why I started the stream in the garage. Okay, so, oh boy, uh-oh. I just got the truss rod pushed right in. It's going to be fun to try to get out. Let me see. Yeah, that's fun. Let's see if I can do it with this. If I push this in and push it sideways. There we go. Yeah, that's going to be dangerous to have that like that. That it said, I suppose if it did get shoved in there, I could still use it. I'm going to screw this on for now. I don't really even need the truss rod in there right now. So I'm not gluing it on, I'm just screwing it on. So I'm just going to keep the truss rod out. I'm going to take the harp off because that makes it much more difficult to get the neck on. So I'm going to take the harp out and do all of that. Yeah. So a lot of people have been asking about how I'm going to tune the harp. It's just going to have guitar tuners on the bottom side, and they're accessible through the hole. So you'll see that in a second. So basically, yeah, I'm just going to use guitar tuners. I've ordered some. The order's on its way. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. So the ball ends are going to go in holes up here in the upper bout. The ball ends will go up there, and the tuners are going to be on the other end, and I'm going to have small individual bridges that I'll be able to move. So if I want to try to tune it to have 12 notes, I could put the bridges in the middle and then have one note on each side of the bridge. So like if I have an A on one side and an A sharp on the other side, I could do that. But then if I play the wrong note when I'm playing a scale, it'll make that ring out, and that wouldn't be so nice. So I might not do that. We'll see. I'll probably not do that. I'll probably have it tuned to like some open chord or something, some variant of an open chord, and use it like that. So then anything that's in that chord, any chord that's in the key, should make it vibrate. So, and I got another idea. I mentioned it in my last stream. I want to see what you guys have to think about this. So if you're watching this after the fact, you have to answer me. Go into the comments, and if you're watching it now, you got to answer me. What do you think about putting a reverberator inside of an electric guitar? And I don't mean a harp. I mean an actual reverb tank that you'd put inside of like an amp or inside of a pedal. So like a spring reverb right inside an electric guitar. I know that when you're strumming it, you're going to make it make some funny sounds, but that could be kind of cool. If you hit the guitar, it's going to make some really strange sounds, but that could be kind of cool too. So what do you think about that? You have to tell me. Don't be quiet. Putting a reverb tank inside of an electric guitar. I can show you what a reverb tank looks like, actually. So I have one out of an old amp. I like to take parts out of things and keep the parts, so I kept the reverb tank out of the old amp. What do you guys think of that? Anyway, so if you're watching this after the fact, you can let me know down in the comments. And I'm just getting stuff set up so that I can put the neck back on. Okay. So I've got a black Robertson bit. I'm Canadian. I use square-headed bits. If you're American and you've never seen one of these before, you're missing out. That's actually War. That's a Warhouse one. Okay. Anyway, you're missing out if you're American. You don't know about Robertson bits. They're far superior to Phillips bits. Far, far superior. They don't slip. Phillips were actually designed, did you know this? They were designed to slip. Particularly designed to slip. How much weight would what add? Putting a reverb tank inside an electric guitar? You'd have to carve out a channel for it, so it would only probably actually lose weight. You'd probably have less weight than you would in the amount of wood because they're quite large. It would take a big cavity, so you'd have a cavity about this big. So like this, you can't really tell, but like 12 inches long or so. Probably 2 inches by 2 inches or so. well, the 2 inches is thicker than the guitar. But anyway, you'd have a cavity that'd be totally hollowed out for it to go in, so you wouldn't be adding any amount of weight. Maybe a little bit, but no major amount. If you're asking about the harp, that adds a little bit of weight to the body, but the body is so light because I cut out a good amount of it just for putting the harp in that you don't really notice. You would notice it's a little bit heavier than a standard acoustic guitar, but not by much. It's also a small guitar, so it's probably more close to the weight of a dreadnought now. I don't know how much a dreadnought weighs. I should look that up. Yeah, I should figure out how much a dreadnought weighs just so that I have an idea if this is heavier or not. It'd be a good thing to know. My phone is on 10% battery. I gotta get a charger. Actually, yeah. I'm probably going to do this next part in my episode. So once I get the neck on, I'm going to head off. So if you guys have any final questions, you'll have to ask now. Or forever hold your peace. Or at least, I guess you could just ask in the comments down below. Forever hold your peace. This guy's crazy. This is Facebook. It's never down. Never inactive. 24/7. Whenever you want to get an answer, you just ask it. Not that I answer 24/7, but anyway. I don't know what else to talk about, so I'm just kind of rambling right now. Yeah, so I think that it would be neat, because if you've ever actually used a spring reverb, it gives like a sci-fi type effect when you hit it. So that would be kind of an interesting effect to have accessible just by shaking your guitar. So you want to go into your supercharge mode like you do on GarageBand, or not GarageBand, Rock Band, Guitar Hero, whatever one of those. You can like shake the guitar and it goes into like supercharge mode or whatever it is. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, if you wanted to do that, you could do that with the guitar. It'd be fun. Shake it and you're going to have some sort of crazy sci-fi effects like you're shooting a phaser or something. But you'd have reverb built right into the guitar. So that's the idea. I mean, obviously you could take an electric guitar, an electric reverb, a digital reverb tank system, like a pedal, and you could add a digital reverb pedal in. That'd be fine, but I don't like digital stuff very much. I like analog, so it'd be cool to have analog reverb built right into the guitar. That's the idea. Probably it'll never happen. Not from me, but I can't say that. I would have said the same thing about putting a harp inside of a guitar, and I'm already there most of the way. Like realistically, right now, if I was to stop building this, all I'd have to do is take a clamp some strings on one end, put a floating bridge in the middle, clamp some strings on the other end with like tuners or something, clamp some tuners on, and I could make it make sounds. So if I really, really wanted to right now, I could make it make sounds, but I'm not going to do that. So I don't want to ruin it by clamping stuff onto it. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I think it'd be fun. It'd be a cool idea. Oh, another idea that I have. This is something I can talk about until my phone dies, or I finish this. Yeah, you'd hear it through the amp because what I was thinking was you'd wire it in, so it'd be another signal. So basically, the way that the reverb tank I have works is there's a like an RCA jack on both sides. So in one end, there's a magnetic system, kind of like a solenoid, but not quite, that puts a signal through the spring. So basically, it vibrates to the music, and it puts the vibrations of your playing through this spring, and then the spring on the other end has another one of the exact same piece that picks up the vibrations, and the spring just affects the vibrations enough to give you the reverb effect. So that's basically how it works. So what I would do is I'd have one of them or both of them wired into the system to give you the effect. So I wouldn't put the signal through it because that would just be a pedal. But the spring would vibrate from it being inside the guitar. And then I'd have that wired in as one of the outputs. So either a split output with two signals and then you need a stereo patch cord, or 2 patch cords even, or I'd have it that you can select how much you have put into your main signal, but it wouldn't be as loud. Like, I don't know, it would probably be about as loud as a passive system. Yeah, basically you'd be selecting it like it was a pickup. So yes, you'd hear it through the amp. If it was just sitting inside the guitar, you would not hear it through the amp unless it affected the guitar in a negative way. You'd have to ground it for sure if there's a metal tank inside your guitar. It might be one of those things that it wouldn't be actually a metal tank. I might just make a wooden tank out of the body of the guitar, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm not totally sure, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So another idea that I like teardrop shaped instruments. Soon I'm going to be making a stick dulcimer, another one, but much better than the one that I have now. But I want to make a teardrop shaped guitar, and I think it'd be fun to make one that's only got, well, not only has, but that has like a short scale and is tuned higher. So like, let's just say that you were to tune it like you were capoing on the 5th fret. So it'd start at an A instead of an E. So that would be fun, making a teardrop shaped guitar. Probably the body would be about the size of a parlor guitar, with only up to the 5th fret basically. Now you'd have all the frets from the 5th fret on upwards, but it would be kind of like you're having it capoed at the 5th fret. That's kind of the idea. That'd be fun. I'll probably do that someday too. I like to make crazy things. That would be something that I'd do just for myself. That's not something that I would look to sell. I mean, if somebody wanted to buy it, I'd sell it to them, but probably wouldn't happen. I like thinking of crazy things, like being out of the box, off the wall a little bit. Okay, so that's on enough to do the fretwork, I think. Need to get the top screw on a little bit tighter. Cool. Well, I'm going to video for my episode, so I'll see you guys later. But there, the fret works pretty much there, other than dressing the frets. They're all in. Sharp as all get out on the ends. That needs to be figured out. So I'll catch you guys on the next time that I do this. So keep an eye out for when I'm doing another live stream if you liked it, and thank you for watching.